Hello everyone. Happy Thursday. Okay, so there may be a few background noises today. I'm expecting UPS today, and my daughter is currently sweeping our front porch, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, I'm just gonna wait a few minutes, see if anybody joins us. First things, we're going to go over a few promotions real quick. If you missed my Paper Pumpkin Facebook Live, was it yesterday? I think it was Wednesday. I think it was yesterday. Make sure you check that out. I finished all the cards. Let me show them to you. We did 3 on the video and then I finished them all. So, and I did use that other greeting and switched the card base it was on. But I have a whole stack of them now. All 9 cards. Ready to go. So if you are interested in Paper Pumpkin, make sure you sign up for the March kit because it's Paper Pumpkin's birthday. We're getting a free stamp set. 2 free. Well, there's 2 stamp sets in this one. We're getting the one that will go with the kit, and then we're getting an additional free one. So it's a phenomenal time to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. You can purchase Paper Pumpkin subscriptions in my online store as well, and then earn Sale-a-Bration products along with those. I do have 2 classes coming up. I have a class on Stampin' Blends, and we're going to use a bunch of Stampin' Blends today. So if you want to know more about Stampin' Blends, let me know. I have a class in March about that. And I believe the link is posted in the video description. And I also have my monthly Saturday class in March, and that one is going to be a lot of fun. It's all like flowers and spring and just beautiful, beautiful cards we're going to make. So if you're local in Albuquerque, you're interested in either of those classes, please let me know. I would love to have you at either of them. Okay, last week I didn't go live last week when our second release went live. So we haven't talked since then. So Sale-a-Bration second release is out and it is phenomenal. We're using one of the products today. And I've used the Painted Seasons in another Facebook Live. I did that. Was it last week or the week before? So the second release is out. There's 3 new items to earn. There's the all adorned stamp set, which is designed for the Stamparatus, for use with the Stamparatus. If you have the Stamparatus, you're going to love this one. We have the Country Floral Embossing folder, which is what we're using today. And so you'll see that in a minute. And this embossing folder is so incredibly phenomenal. And so the inspiration for the card today is kind of from this sample right here. They colored it, and we're going to be doing something. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to color it. And I've seen so many other demonstrators and just examples online of people coloring this embossing folder, and it's phenomenal. So coloring it is not my original idea, but it's such a good idea I had to share. So we're going to color it. And then the third item, so these are both $50 items. The all adorned and the embossing folder, $50. You can earn free with a $50 item. And then the third one is the Painted Seasons bundle, which you get the stamp set and the paper. And they're both phenomenal, and I love them both so much. So there are some items sold out though. Sale-a-Bration items are only available while supplies last. The butterfly elements, the foil sheets, and the precious parcel card kit are gone. These you cannot get anymore. But there's still so many other things, plus the 3 new ones that you can earn. But because it's all available while supplies last, make sure you get all that now. Okay, we're going to jump into the card today. And so let me get this put away. Okay, let me show you what we're making today because it's so pretty. So look at how gorgeous this card is. I love these colors. So it's so pretty. I mean, I could just look at this for okay, the knocking on the wall is my daughter. Anyway, this card is so pretty. I love it. And like you could even embellish the inside. Maybe I'll do that because the front is so stunning. So there's some gold embossing here on some vellum. And then all of this is colored with the blends. So we're going to go over that. And I forgot to mention, if you do want to place any of these products, make sure you head to my website. Use this hostess code. And if your order is over $50, you're going to get Sale-a-Bration items. And I'm going to send you a free package of the frosted floral embellishments. So make sure you place your orders. So let's start with our embossing. We have to emboss this first with our embossing folder. So let me pull in my Big Shot. Normally I do all my Big Shotting ahead of time, but I'm doing it on camera today for you guys. So I have my Big Shot, pull that in. So the paper that I am using, this is just Whisper White that's 3 1/4 by 5. And we're going to stick it in our embossing folder. My sandwich today is just the Big Shot platform and 1 plate. This is the thicker Dynamic Impressions embossing folder, so you only want the 1 plate. So I'm going to stick this in here, and there's a little line right here on our embossing folders that helps us get it nice and straight. Although with this one, it's not so important that it's super straight because there's no like directional pattern or anything. If the flowers are a little crooked, I don't think it's really going to make that big of a difference. So I'm going to put the embossing folder with the paper inside it on my platform with 1 plate on top, and we're going to run that through. Okay. And I will say that this platform makes the world of difference when you are embossing. If you bought a Big Shot years ago before this platform came with it, you have the one with like the little tabs where you fold open. This one, I have found that embossing with this platform alone just makes a world of difference. The impression you get is so different and it's so much deeper. So here is that folder. I don't know, I think you can pick it up. Look how stunning that is, and the details on it it's just amazing. I just love it. This is my favorite folder of all time, I think. Okay, I have a lot of blends that we are going to use. So let me tell you, we have Granny Apple Green, light and dark. We have Lovely Lipstick, light and dark. We have Highland Heather, light and dark. Pineapple Punch, light and dark. And then we have the Soft Suede Light and the Night of Navy Light. So these are all the blends that we're going to use to color this. Now, if you don't have these blends or you don't like any of these colors, then use colors you have, use colors you like. There is no reason why you have to color this exactly as I'm doing. I'm simply showing you the technique. You could also do this with watercolor paper and watercolor this. You could use sponge daubers and sponge it on. You can use your blender pen and just some ink. So there's a million ways. You can use watercolor pencils. There's a million ways to color this. So I am going to start with my Lovely Lipstick because I want the big roses to be Lovely Lipstick. Let me pull in my example. So I started with my biggest flowers first. So I'm going to start with these roses. And so I'm going to start with my lightest one. Yes, I'm going to start with my lightest one. I forgot how I did it yesterday. But I am simply just letting the ink move on that embossed area. I'm just lightly touching it. I'm not pressing down too hard. I'm letting the ink do all the work in here. And I am coloring the entire thing with my light color. Now yesterday I colored 2 of these in, it took me about 40 minutes to color both of them. We're not coloring the whole thing today. I have a finished one ready to go because I don't think that we're gonna have like half an hour to sit here and watch me color it. So now I've gone in, and I'm gonna hold this up. So now I've gone in with the dark one, and it's really messy. You can hardly, I just went in and added some swoops of color, especially just following those curves. And then I'm gonna go back with the light one and just color right over those and blend all those out. And it's just gonna leave lots of dimension on that rose. So super pretty and super easy. You don't have to be an expert with blends to do this one. I'm gonna move on to my Pineapple Punch. And Pineapple Punch is really probably my favorite yellow right now, but Daffodil Delight would also be really perfect with these. And so I'm gonna go in and do the yellow with these little, I don't know what kind of flower that is. Maybe like a dahlia flower? I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to, again, I'm just using my light one, starting with my light and covering the whole surface of that flower. And I am letting I'm not touching very hard. I'm letting my marker really do all the work here. So I'm going to go up, fill in this whole area. And this embossing folder is pretty forgiving. I mean, if you do go outside the lines or you make a mistake, this embossing folder is so forgiving, it doesn't matter too much. So now that I have that yellow one completely covered, I'm going to go back in with the dark. And I am just adding like a little starburst in the middle. I'm just kind of doing my dark in the middle in a circular motion, and then I'll just go on back in with my light and I'll just blend all that out, and that'll give a nice range of definition in those colors. Pretty, right? Oh my gosh, so pretty already. All right, we're gonna move on to Highland Heather, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start with the light. We're gonna add some darker touches with the dark color, and then we're gonna blend it all out. So I will do, let me see, I'll do this little patch of flowers down here. So I'm just coloring, there's I think 3 flowers down here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be exact. This embossing folder is very, very forgiving. So just coloring that out. I can't color and talk at the same time. And then you're gonna go in with your dark. And you're gonna add lots of just detail in the middle, messy details, and then go in with your light and just blend all that out. Okay, great. Okay, so that's the basic of the flowers. Now we have the leaves to do, and there's lots of different kinds of leaves on here, and I will show you. So there's like these little like rounded type leaves, there's these little like, I don't know, more pointed type leaves. There's lots of leaves, and I did them all exactly the same. So I will start with, we'll do these leaves over here. I'm going to start with my light. Again, this is the Granny Apple Green blend, and I'm going to do the light one. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of detail, and I'm just going down right in the middle, just kind of adding kind of where like the vein of the leaf would be. And then I'm just going right over that and blending that color right out. So that is it. So let me do another flower real quick, or another leaf real quick with the green so you can see. And then I'll just right down the middle, and then I'll just blend it out a little bit. And that gives just such great range of definition for that leaf. So you can already see how beautiful this is. Now, if I was coloring the whole thing for you all at once, I would have done all the roses together. I would have done all the yellow flowers together. I would have done all the purple flowers together. And that's how I did this one. So we're just going to add a few finishing touches with our soft suede and our Night of Navy. The soft suede I used inside the middle of the purple flowers. And there's no blending in here. And then I just did a few little dots inside the yellow flower. That's with my soft suede, and I did that with all the flowers. And then with my Night of Navy, and I went for the light Night of Navy for this one. There's all these little, let's see if you can see, all these little dots here. And all I did was just touch each dot. The small dots you just touch lightly. The bigger dots you touch a little more heavy-handed. But I just went around and touched every single dot, and that gave such amazing finishing details to the card. So let me bring in my finished one that I colored yesterday, so we don't have to sit here for another 25 minutes watching me color this one. But here's my finished one that I colored yesterday. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So you have all the Highland Heather, the Pineapple Punch, the lovely lipstick, the Granny Apple Green, the soft suede, and then the Night of Navy dots there. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to finish up this card now. So through the magic of television, I colored it all, and it's ready to go. So we're going to finish the card, and I didn't want to cover up any of this because we just spent so much time coloring it all. We don't want to cover any of it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little vellum greeting. And okay, so I have a piece of vellum, and this is 1 inch long, and I believe this is like 8.5 inches wide. It doesn't need to be that wide. Mine is, I cut it pretty wide just to make sure that it has room to wrap around, and mine will overlap back here, but anything more than about 4 inches will work, just so you have room to wrap it. So we're going to do some gold embossing. So I have my Versamark pad, and I have my gold embossing powder. So I'm going to stamp this with my Versamark pad, and this greeting is from the Butterfly Gala stamp set. I love this little scripty greeting with the big tall fonts. I love it. So this is a perfect greeting for this card, I think. So I'm going to ink that up, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to try to get this straight on here. We'll see. So, because it's Versamark, you're probably not going to be able to see it very well. Once we add that embossing powder, it's going to really pop through then. So I have gold embossing powder. You could use silver, you could use black embossing powder. any kind of, that you could use the copper. Oh my gosh, I just totally lost. Now see, the M didn't stamp very well there, but we're gonna fix that right after we emboss it. I'm gonna show you a little trick to fix that, because I didn't press down hard enough on my M, or I didn't ink it up. So I'm gonna heat up my heat tool. Because it's vellum, I want my heat tool to be nice and hot before I start embossing it, because vellum will warp very easily. And the less heat is on it, the less warping there will be. So I'm gonna wait till my heat tool is nice and hot, and then I'm going to heat it up. And actually this is I'm gonna bring in my little clipboard here. This is such a small piece of vellum that I don't want to burn my hands, so I like to emboss on my clipboard when I have a small piece of vellum. So okay, perfect. So now I said I was going to show you a trick because the M I didn't stamp that very well. So I want you to see, so that M. So I'm going to take a white gel pen, and I'm just going to trace where that needs to be. And I'm using a white gel pen specifically for this because it won't absorb into the vellum right away, and it will give us time to go in with the embossing powder. And that didn't work as well as I thought. So I have done that, but with white embossing powder, so I thought it would have worked. So I'm gonna just cut another piece of vellum real quick. Bear with me, you guys. There is always a mistake in my lives, right? So I'm gonna stamp this one more time, and probably because I didn't have my mat down there is why that M didn't stamp very well. But if you were using white embossing powder, that gel pen trick would have worked perfectly. I'm gonna make sure that M gets pushed down. Much better. I can already see it's much better. So we're gonna sprinkle our embossing powder, and once we heat this up, it won't take long because our heat tool is already heated. So this will heat very quickly. Okay, hope you guys are still with me. Embossing is such a fun technique, and I think that it really adds a lot to the cards because it's so magical. So here we go. So you can see it changing. Perfect. This one is so much better. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I can put my clipboard away. I use that clipboard to watercolor a lot. That's why it looks like that. And I usually, and I use it to color with my blends, and on it, that is what I use when I want to color, like in front of the TV. If we're watching a movie or a TV show or something, I'll take stuff I need to color and I'll just color on that clipboard. So, okay, we are gonna glue this down. We are almost done. I know this, I was like, this will be a quick card. So I'm going to just fold this around the back, and I'm gonna fold this one too. See, this is really long. So now my vellum piece is way too long, so we're going to trim it in the back. But I'm just folding those two ends right around the back just so we have a nice little point to figure out where it's going to go. And I'm going to put some adhesive. You can use I'm using Fast Fuse, but you can use anything you have. And I'm going to grab some scissors and chop that off. I'm going to chop this extra piece off right here. So we don't need that. So there is our vellum piece, and we didn't adhere it at all to the front. So you can see it's not adhered at all. We've only adhered it to the back. So there's no adhesive showing at all. We don't have to worry about adhesive showing. And I'm just going to take some white baker's twine, and I'm going to attach this to my Night of Navy piece first. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to attach this first. I'm going to put lots of adhesive on this because it is an embossed piece. We want to make sure that it sticks really well. So lots of, and liquid glue would work really well too, and it would give you time to wiggle it around, make sure it's nice and straight. But I have my Fast Fuse handy, so we're going to do that. So there we go. Beautiful. All we need to do is add some baker's twine on here. Beautiful. Add a little knot or a bow. I'm going to try a bow. We'll see how I do with a bow. Okay, can't talk and tie at the same time. Okay, Whenever I use baker's twine, I always tie it in a knot first, and then it makes it so much easier to tie the bow. So there we go. Perfect. I'm just gonna fix my little ends there. Perfect. I'm gonna trim this off, and then all we need to do is attach it to the card base. Oh my goodness, my ribbon scissors. Okay, my desk is such a mess, you guys. As always, right? I say that every week. As always. It is now, let me tell you what's all over my desk. I will show you in just a sec. So I have these all over my desk. Oh. I went to Target today and picked up some Easter candy to start making little Easter treats for to put on my blog. And I love crafting with those little bunnies and chicks that come out every Easter. I love creating little packages for those, so I had to get some. But now they're taking over my desk. So, okay, so dimensionals on the back of our Night of Navy piece. And then I have a card base, a lovely lipstick card base that is 11 by 4 1/4, and I have scored it in half at 5 1/2. And I'm just gonna stick this right down, grab my bone folder, and that is it. That is our card with the Country Floral Embossing folder and the blends. So you could emboss a bunch of these, and this is what I did yesterday. I embossed a bunch of them, and then I took them to the living room, put on a movie, and then just watched my movie and colored. And to do 2 of them, it took me about 40 minutes. So, I mean, about 20 minutes to half an hour for each one. It is a lot of coloring, but it's not hard coloring. So I don't know but it has so many details with those blends. But again, you can color with anything. You can use watercolor pencils. You can use emboss this in watercolor paper and you do watercoloring on it. It would be beautiful. But I love it with the blends. I love the bright, bold colors of the blends. So I hope you guys like this too. So if you have any questions or if you want to place an order, please head to my website. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments and I will make sure that I answer them. Until next week, I hope you guys have a great time and I will be back later. Have a great weekend, you guys. Bye.